Sir, would you raise your right hand as best possible? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
You can put your hand down. Your name is William Ruben Ebron Jr.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ebron, you've heard what your attorney has said, that you wish to enter pleas of guilty to several charges. Aggravated manslaughter of a child, that's a first-degree felony punishable by up to 30 years in prison. Child neglect, which is a third-degree felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Giving false information to a law enforcement officer, that is a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail. And tampering with evidence, a third-degree felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Is that what you wish to do, is plead guilty to those charges?
Yes, I do, sir.
Have you had enough time to speak to your attorney about what you're doing this morning?
Yes, I have.
Are you satisfied with their advice and representation in this case?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs or any substance or condition this morning which would affect your ability to think clearly?
No, sir.
Has anybody threatened you, coerced you, or promised you anything to get you to enter these pleas this morning?
No, they haven't.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty of these charges?
Yes, sir.
You understand you have the right to plead not guilty to these charges and make the state prove your guilt in a court of law. You can have a jury trial, cross-examine the state's witnesses, bring in witnesses on your behalf, have your attorneys represent you, and you're giving up those rights. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Is there any DNA evidence known to exist which would exonerate the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, from the defense.
Mr. Ebron, you are a citizen of the United States.
Yes, I am.
You understand if you were not a citizen, the entry of this plea could subject you to deportation.
Yes, I do.
And you understand that if this were a sexually motivated offense, or if you've previously been convicted of a sexually motivated offense, that the entry of this plea could subject you to a civil commitment at the conclusion of your sentence.
Yes, I do.
How far did you go in school?
College?
So you can read and write.
Yes, I can.
Did you read and go over with your attorneys this multi-page form entitled Plea of Guilty and Negotiated Sentence?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand everything on this form?
Yes.
And it's a 3-page form. Do you have any questions about anything on any of the pages of this form?
No questions, Your Honor.
And is this your signature at the bottom of the form?
Yes, it is.
Court finds that Mr. Ebron's plea is freely and voluntarily entered with a full understanding of the nature and consequences of the plea. Therefore, the court accepts his pleas of guilty. As to count 1, aggravated manslaughter of a child, adjudicate him guilty of that offense, first-degree felony, sentence him to 20 years in the Florida State Prison with credit for
196 days, Your Honor.
196 days time served. As to count 2, adjudicate the defendant guilty of the third-degree felony of child neglect, sentence him to 5 years in the Florida State Prison with the same amount of credit time. That sentence will run concurrently with the previously imposed sentence in count 1. As to count 3, giving false information to a law enforcement officer, a first-degree misdemeanor, adjudicating guilty of that offense, sentence him to 1 year in the Duval County Jail with credit for same amount of credit time.
Yes, Your Honor.
That sentence will run concurrently with the previously imposed sentences in counts 1 and 2. As to count 4, adjudicate him guilty of the third-degree felony of tampering with evidence, sentence him to 5 years in the Florida State Prison with credit for the same amount of credit time. That sentence will run concurrently with the previously imposed sentences. Order him to pay $669 in court costs and a $150 public defender lien. Is the state seeking any restitution in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from the state?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, this time, Mr. Ebron did have a statement he wanted to make to the court. It has been typed out. He decided he did not want to read it. He wants me to read it for the court. Actually, I have a copy for the court also.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, there's also a statutory fee of $151 for the child neglect charge.
We will impose that surcharge as well.
$51?
151, sir.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes, Your Honor, 1 second. Judge Borrello, thank you for allowing me to make this statement. I would like to apologize to William and Wanda Ebron, my parents, and Deborah and Lonzie Lauramore, Lonna's parents. You raised us better than this. You did no wrong. yet this has affected you so much, and for that I'm sorry. None of you deserve the public scrutiny that this brought. I know our two families will forever be tied together, and not in the way we had hoped for. Nobody dreamed that this would ever happen to them, or know exactly how they would react if it does not, if it does, nor does any parent want to believe it ourselves. But it happened, and both Lonna and I were both involved. This was a tragic accident made far worse by our horrible decision making. All we can do now is pay for the mistakes we have made and hopefully learn from them. To Jessica, my children Shania, Trey, and Michael, and to Landon and Lily, I know you all have been through far much because of our actions, and I'm sorry. I regret not being able to be the partner, father, and friend you deserve. I hope my efforts over the past 4 weeks and this plea today provides some measure of closure to everyone involved, including Jacksonville and McClendon communities. And I apologize most of all to Lonzie Barton Barton. We failed to provide you the care you needed, and I failed to protect you from the harm of others. I have and will continue to ask for forgiveness for what I did and for what I failed to do. You were so young, and you experienced far too much in your short life. You've touched so many lives, but were taken from us too soon. Baby man, you may finally rest in peace. Sincerely, William Ruben Ebron Jr.